Welcome to Canyonlands National Park, Needles District. We got a trail sign here. Yeah, joint trail. Goes off to the left. Needles Campground, Elephant Hill. Off to the right here. So I overheard the ranger talking when I stopped by the visitor center, and they recommended going counterclockwise. They said it's easier to follow the cairns that way. So I'll be doing it counterclockwise. I'll be hitting the joint trail at the end of this loop, which I'm really looking forward to that. And that's the reason I brought my day pack, because I don't think my backpack is going to fit through it. So I'm gonna have to stash my backpack here somewhere, and then continue the rest of the loop with just my day pack. But man, it's beautiful out here. It is beautiful. We're coming up on another trail sign here. What does that say? Joint trailhead, 0.7 miles. Okay. Yeah, I believe theirs is like kind of like a Jeep road from what I've seen. And there's this trailhead, there's a picnic bench there, so I may stop there and have a brief lunch. But I'm really excited about the joint trail because it really is just a crack between two massive pieces of rock that you get to hike through. And I think it's like a mile, so I'm really looking forward to that. This weather has been just perfect these past 2 days. You know, I was looking at the forecast, I was thinking, man, high in the mid 50s, low in the maybe upper 20s, but it feels good. I'm actually a little warm, you know, with the direct sun, not a lot of shade out here, but this weather has been perfect. So I'm at the joint trailhead now. Gonna have me a quick snack. Because I am a little bit behind time. I'm probably gonna finish in the dark again, if my calculations are correct, but that's okay. It has been an awesome day so far. And the trail is pretty easy, I would say. So when I first got on it, coming from Elephant Canyon, it was flat up until you got to that main section. And then I would say from there down to the joint trail, that's a lot of rock scrambling, which was fun, just time consuming. And then you hit that joint trail and it's a Jeep road, almost a mile, till you get to here. So it's been pretty easy so far. Now I've got the joint. I got the joint next. So really looking forward to that. Interesting note, just passed by a few backpackers out here, and they were coming from the joint trail, and they had their backpacks on. I asked them, obviously they made it through, just asked them how it was, and they said it was a tight squeeze, and it looked like their backpacks were kind of tall and big, not necessarily fat and big. So if you have stuff bulging out the sides of your pockets, you may have to shift them to inside your pack. But they did make it, and they made it through. So just FYI. Welcome to the joint. So it looks like there's two ways you can go in this trail to get to the other end. I'm going to take the narrow path, see if I can fit through. Wonder if that goes up. That looks like it goes up and out. I don't want to go up and out. All right, let me head back to the main one, and we're going to go from there. Let's see if I have better luck going down this trail. I already see a cairn. So if you're coming out, or I guess coming down into the joint and counterclockwise, looks like you stay straight. Don't hang that left. I think that just actually takes you out again on another side. Yeah, this is right. That was pretty cool. For some reason, I thought it was longer. Like, I thought it was going to be like a mile. And I guess the entire trail from the trailhead to Chesler Park, I think is maybe a mile, but that was maybe, I don't know, quarter, half mile. But it was really, really cool. And I do think you could make it through with a backpack. If you're nervous about doing the joint trail because maybe you don't like tight spaces, you're claustrophobic, but you want to do the Chesler Park Loop, there is another trail that cuts above it from that Jeep road that I was on. So you can still complete the loop and not do the joint trail if you want. Well, I've made it back to my starting point this morning and completed the Chesler Park Loop, and it is easily my favorite hike in Canyonlands. So I had never done this before. I've done Druid Arch, I've done Big Spring Canyon, and they're great, fabulous hikes. But this was really cool. It kind of had a little bit of everything. It had big wide open views of LaSalle Mountains, and I think that's the Henry Mountains on the other side. A big open view of just the Needles. Then you have some rock scrambling between kind of the north end of the trail down to that Jeep trail. And then you got the joint, right? And that was super cool, really unique. So really, I felt like this hike had everything and just absolutely loved it. Now I just need to get back to where I dropped my backpack off and start heading home. Backpack is still here. Looks like it is undisturbed. All right. So I decided to change the way I leave than when I first decided, because I didn't want to go back the way I came. And I just realized that leaving this way is an area that I haven't been to. And so I just want to check that out. Plus, where I came in from, man, that was slow. Like that mile probably took me an hour to do. So that was really slow. I figure this terrain it is going to be a little bit longer, but I think it's going to be a bit quicker, or maybe at least the same. So that's my hope anyway. But let me pack everything up here and let's get going. All right, this should be the main intersection I'm looking for. So yeah, Chesler Park. So going to the right, that's where I'm gonna head out towards Elephant Hill. Oh, these are some of the views I was hoping for. Oh yeah, it is beautiful. Good call so far. Well, I am back in Elephant Canyon. Not really much to see once you kind of drop down into the canyon and the big views go away. And it's typical canyon hiking, which is fun but slow. So I think I've got maybe a couple miles until I get back up to the ladders. The ladders where I dropped into Elephant Canyon from the Big Spring Trail. Well, that's where I'll be exiting out to hook up with Squaw Canyon. So that's what I want to do next. Haven't seen that before. So when I go over that ladder, I expect to go to the right instead of the left, and that'll loop back around to the Needles Campground. So looking forward to checking out those views. Good old EC2. So this is where Nate and I camped at several years ago. I mean, it was probably almost 5, if not 6 years ago. And I was kind of new to backpacking in Utah. So I think it was like June or July, and it was smoking hot. Hadn't really learned about the rock cairns yet. So, you know, here, especially in Elephant Canyon, the rock cairns will take you off to a better trail than walking in the wash. Well, I didn't know that, and so I was afraid to miss my campsite, and so we just walked in the wash the whole time, which is longer and a little bit more difficult. Yeah, those are the good old days. Nate and I camping up there. That was fun. Steep. Whew. All right. Last ladder. And then we'll take a break with this view. Looks like I do have to hike a little bit of the trail that I hiked in from on the Big Spring Canyon to get into Elephant Canyon. That's all right. These views here are some of my favorites. And now I am at my turnoff here, I believe. Yeah. Wooden Shoe Canyon. So that is the direction of Squaw Canyon. All right, let's go check out Squaw Canyon. I guess Wood Shoe Canyon as well. I'm curious if we'll see the wooden shoe arch from here. That'd be cool. But all right, looking forward to it. I'm about to wrap up the Squaw Canyon Trail, and just thought I'd give you some of my thoughts, my opinions, specifically like between Squaw Canyon and Big Spring Canyon, which one is better? And I think Big Spring Canyon is better. I feel like you are hiking more in between the rock and the rock walls, which is cool, and I feel like you have more view of the Needles when you're over there. So I really liked Big Spring Canyon. Squaw Canyon, Wooden Shoe Canyon, it's all right, you know. It's a pretty trail, pretty easy, but I don't think it is as scenic as Big Spring Canyon. But really, you just want to get up to where Big Spring Canyon ends, right? You want to get up there where Wooden Shoe Canyon ends. You want to climb up out of those canyons. That's when you get the big, amazing view. So regardless of whether you take Big Spring or the Squaw and Wooden Canyon trails, that's where you want to get for the best views. All right, folks, that is going to do it for part 2 of Canyonlands. I am back at my truck, and whew, what a great day. Hiked around 15 miles, and it was just fabulous. Chesler Park, definitely the highlight of my trip here in Canyonlands. It was just stunning. Good for a day hike or even an overnight. And I'll say, I thought those were the best campsites. I've never stayed in Chesler Park before, but they had some really sweet campsites. So if I were to return, I think I would try to get a campsite there. So Chesler Park, definitely my favorite of the 2 days. Squaw Canyon, it was all right. I recommend Big Spring Canyon over that. I thought it was more scenic. But it was nice to kind of do a loop and do something a little bit different. But fabulous trip here in Canyonlands National Park. Glad to be back at my truck and put on some sandals, get some air conditioning, and then figure out where I'm going to sleep tonight. All right, folks, thanks for watching. And until my next adventure, keep on blazing.